Today we're talking about Darksiders 2, which sort of tells the story of death. We talked about War in the first game, and we really wanted to tell the story of one of his brothers for this game. War is more of a stoic, no-nonsense, charge through and kill everything guy. Death's a little more subtle, agile, cat-like, a lot more finesse to his combat and his style. The story in Darksiders 2 is actually concurrent to the first story, and it kind of tells the story, well, what was Death doing while this is going on with War? And the basic gist is Death's out to prove that War didn't commit the crime on Earth.
To spare his brother from oblivion, the second horseman rode forth. And his name was Death.
So Darksiders 2 carries all the basic elements of the first one, all the exploration, adventure, puzzle solving, combat, all that kind of stuff. And it really just adds a lot more depth. There's a lot more NPCs to interact with. There's side quests and secondary content. You can go off and do something that's not even related to the main quest, and that's a perfectly valid thing to do in this game. And you as a character have a lot more options and depth in how you can progress. You can level your character up, get cool new equipment, choose how your skills advance and all that sort of stuff. So it really personal to the character to allow them to personalize their death and make him different than everybody else's. The great thing about working on a sequel is you've kind of worked a lot of the kinks out of the system. You know what the game's about, you know what your formula is about, and now you get to do all the cool stuff you had to cut in the first game. I really believe that Darksiders 2 sort of represents the culmination of what we wanted the series to play like in the first place. And it's got all those elements we've always wanted in there. Yeah, Darksiders 2 is definitely a strictly single-player game. I mean, multiplayer is something we've always wanted to do, but in this case it made sense. Like, what's happening in the story, it's very personal to Death, to one character. It wouldn't even really make sense to have multiplayer. So the Wii U port of Darksiders, it's actually a whole group of different people working on that project. They have time and budget to make it. It's the same content, the same basic story, but there are concessions being made to the platform and the unique controls of that platform. There's a world to explore, there's people to interact with, there's stuff to do. You're not just on a linear path from the beginning to the end of the game. You're really dropped in this world and given the option to do what you want. And that's what makes the franchise cool for me. Darksiders 2 coming out on 360, PS3, Wii U, and PC, and the release date sometime this summer.